Hello, lovely sewing friends. Right. Hello. I've missed you guys so much, but I just haven't been in the right headspace to film. But today I was like, I actually really want to film. So hello again. I hope you guys are doing well. If you are new here, welcome. I'm Annie, and basically what I do is I teach people how to sew and I talk about all things sewing. Consider me like that girl on the internet that has a couple of good tips and tricks about sewing and tries to make fun of herself in the best way possible and hopefully makes you guys laugh along the way. So I have recently moved into this new space and I'm living in my sister's house for 2 months before going overseas. And so I thought that this would be a perfect opportunity for me to show you guys my fabric scraps. Because this massive bag of fabric scraps, I just keep on adding to. So basically, I've been sewing for 20 years, and some of the fabric that I have in here may be from when I first started sewing. But I love to keep all my fabric scraps, and I'll show you guys what I do with them. So first of all, I try to make a lot of my own clothes, and as a result, I do have offcuts of fabric. So that's essentially what fabric scraps are. They are pieces of fabric that are a bit too big or pretty to throw away, but too small to do something like a garment out of. So I tend to just collect them all in here. So I'm gonna go through half of these with you now, and then I'll show you kind of what I do with my fabric scraps, and then we can go through the other half. Some of the fabric scraps in here actually aren't fabric scraps, but they're just small pieces of fabric that I have. So starting off, okay, these are obviously denim offcut. So literally the day I moved in here, my sister was like, hey, do you want to hem some stuff for me? And I was like, haha, living in your house rent free, I don't think I have a choice. So I've got a whole bunch of denim scraps here, and I really want to do something out of them because this is such a beautiful denim, and it's a beautiful dark denim as well there. But I also do have some really lighter denim. So kind of can you imagine a really beautiful color combo with those two, and maybe this one in the middle? I don't know. What's the beautiful arrangement of denim right there. Beautiful. So there's that. I have, see, the good thing I love about going through my fabric, this is going to be a while. Thing I love about going through my fabric scraps is the reminiscing you do as you go through, because there are so many projects in here that I've done over the years. One of them being, this is a Liberty scrap, it's a jersey, and I made one of my first wrap dresses with it. It is so beautiful. I love it. So, I remember when it came into the shop that I was working in, and I was like, that is stunning, and it's a Liberty, and it's a knit, and it's a gorgeous color way as well. So I bought a whole bunch of that, and I think with the Liberty, as soon as you see it, get it. I have a budget for everything except Liberty. Always except Liberty, because I love it so much. Beautiful. Speaking of, this is one of the first ever Liberty fabrics I ever bought. It's like a Art Deco, see, you can't really, oh my Lord, I didn't realize I had so much of it left over. So you can't really do a garment out of that, but you certainly can do something out of it. And that's the whole point of scraps, is that you keep your fabrics to one side and you can keep on reusing them as much as you want. Then this one here, I got from Draper's Fabrics when I was in New Zealand. Beautiful fabric, but the thing that I made it into is gorgeous. My sister loves it and it's great. It was for me, but my sister loves seeing me in it, which is nice. But I don't wear it that much, which is a bit of a shame. So this one here, it's a linen from the fabric store. It's called Sea Salt. It's kind of like a a washed down sage color. I love it so much, and this is all I have left of it. Like, it's the most beautiful green, and they discontinued it about like 4 or 5 years ago, and I want it back. I want it back. Got some gingham. I'm always a little bit of a sucker for gingham, especially with linens. Like, I love doing smocking. I would love to do a garment that's smocked, but I think I love it because of like the cottagecore aesthetic, but also it's just so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Oh, this one. So again, Liberty. This one I actually made into a pair of pajamas. I remember the day I bought this fabric because I drove over to my friend's house and we sat in the car and talked for a while, and I was like, look what I got today. I love this. It's a fleece backing as well. So I made some pajamas out of it. And then I made another set of pajamas because I wore out the first set, and I actually wear that current set in this house because it's so bloody cold here in Melbourne. Merinos. Merinos I love. I love. I really should sort these into piles down here. Will I? Probably not. We'll see. We'll see how we go. Got some more of that fabric, which is gorgeous. Here I've got some bigger pieces of linen, but I think this was a lining for a skirt. And I'm sure I could do something. I think I should make a separate pile. See, with these videos with scrap fabrics, it's kind of like rummaging through like your old wardrobe. You just come across things and you're like, oh, I'll like just sit and play with that for a little while. And then you just get completely sidetracked. Again, there's some of that Liberty. Now here is a Nerida Hansen fabric that I absolutely love. I've made a top out of it, and I've actually got, we just swing you around there, my bed sheet drying currently. It is, especially, like, I know there's a bit of controversy about Nerida Hansen, but at the time when I bought this, there wasn't. So make of that what you will. I love that bed sheet, and I've noticed that there are a couple of items that I own that if I bring it into a new space, like a new house like this, instantly it makes me feel at home. And my bed sheet, as any kind of like person would tell you, bedding like makes all the difference. So having my bedding, very important. Let's get to this one. So this here, it's actually like a windbreaker waterproof fabric, so you can kind of like hear it like that. It's a gorgeous fabric. I made a windbreaker out of it, still use it. If like, I use it mainly walking to and from the gym if I don't have my puffer jacket, because currently we're in winter. It's June and nearly end of June, yeah. So it's getting pretty cold. This isn't warm enough for me walking to and from the gym, but I do have a puffer that I use. But in summer, when it's like those cooler nights, or when it's a little bit windy, I wear that. Perfect. Another good thing about keeping all your scraps is that if there's ever a tear or you need to patch something, you've already got the scraps, which is brilliant, right? Again, I think, yeah, this is merino. Got some gorgeous chartreuse merino. I really could do like a patchwork turtleneck with that, and some like other scraps of merino, obviously. What else have we got in here? Again, I've got a lot of repeats of the same things, like that denim there. So this is a Liberty fabric, and it's actually a sewing machine cover, right? But I don't use this enough, so I put it back in my fabric scraps pile because I think I'm going to deconstruct it and turn it into something else, but I just don't know what. But it's beautiful. It's an upholstery weight fabric, so that is gorgeous. And because it's all sewn in kind of like squares and blocks, it'll be pretty easy to unpick and like sew something else up in it. So keeping that to one side. I've got a lot of little bits of linen, to be honest, because I would love to one day make a curtain for a French door. I have a vision. I want to make a curtain for a French door in my living room or bedroom, and it's kind of like fabric scraps, but it's in like a stained glass design, kind of similar to this, you know, that kind of style, but all with fabric scraps. I just have no idea how I'm going to do it, and it'll probably take me like a decade to do, but it will be done at some point in my life. It will be done. Hence why I'm collecting so many fabric scraps. You know, everything has a purpose, you know. Again, more gingham, but you can see the difference between these two is the check. So with gingham, multiple different sizes of check. I've heard of something called a buffalo check that's a really thick square. Gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. I've got a range of like heavyweight and lightweight linens in here. Again, beautiful. Let's go down here. So this one here, am I wearing the, no, I'm not wearing the top. This is a like a sage green knit, cotton knit that I made my t-shirt out of, that I've worn so much over the last 6 months. It's ridiculous. So I've got some offcuts of that, and I've actually made a few baby toys and baby beanies out of this for my friends who are expecting. So always good to keep a neutral color, like a green or a beige, on hand for those kinds of things. So that always, I remember cutting this up and being like, yeah, I'll definitely keep that. What else have we got in here? So I really like going to like charity shops and finding a bunch of fabrics, because I found this one here. It's like offcuts of like a curtain or something, because it's quite a thick upholstery-esque kind of weight. And it's like got ducks and chickens on it. And I've got like a whole bunch of little bits here. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. I was thinking an apron at first, but if you look at the colors in it, it's just really beautiful. So like I've got that green, and then like I could get a red in there, and I've got an ochre like there. Like, I think this could be a really beautiful piece in my kitchen one day. What else have I got in here? I thought I saw some wool before. Oh, this one. Okay, so with this one, I made a pair of culottes and I made a bucket hat, and it's this beautiful, I'll show you. So it's a linen, and it's absolutely stunning. I would love to make a pair of shorts out of this. If I find the pair of culottes I made, would I make a pair I probably would, if I'm honest. If I could make a pair of shorts out of this, not this piece of fabric, but like that, I would make those culottes into a pair of shorts, or I would leave them as culottes and just take them out a bit, because they are a bit snug at the moment, and I would really like to wear them, but I don't wear them. Anyway, I remember seeing this at the fabric store and being like, I have to have it. So I bought, it was sold in panels, so I bought a bunch of panels for that. Again, that, so this here. If you sew with knit fabric, my God, stock up on ribbing, right? Ribbing is this really kind of like stretchy material that has like ridges in it. And basically what it is the kind of like the collars and the cuffs on your garments. And like you can like mix up the colors, and like having a base of colors. So I've got black, navy, gray, and cream in my fabric stash in general. My God, this helps you out so much when you're sewing, because ribbing acts different. Ribbing is more, in theory, more elasticated than like your regular knit t-shirt fabric. So what that does is that it creates a really nice flat lay on your collar and your cuffs. Now, you don't need a lot. You don't need a lot, but you need it. And I remember you can probably get like half a meter, and you wouldn't have to buy any more for like 20 years kind of thing. Like, you get a range, and then that's your range. It's kind of like a set of cooking knives. You get your like your staple, and then you don't need to rebuy it consistently because like it's your old reliable, it keeps on going, in the sense that like if it's there you'll use it, and if it's not, you kind of have to make do with what you have on hand, being this. I've done it before. Do not use this as your collar or your cuff fabric because it just doesn't look the best, and I've run into a few issues with it. So ribbing on hand always. Also really good for the belly of like little whale toys, for example. I'll show you. I always have them on hand, don't I? So this is my scrap buster whale, Wilbur the Waste-Free Whale. He's made out of scraps. He's stuffed with scraps. Anyway, ribbing makes really good belly fabric for these, so keep that in mind. That's that. So I think this is a great opportunity for me to pause, and I'll show you. It just so happens I like filming up here in this like loft, this loft area, but it just so happens that my cushions are all made out of scrap fabrics, right? So little coinky dink there. So I'll show you my first cushion. So this one here was all made out of fabric swatches that I fished out of kind of like a waste pile at the fabric store, because these were all like cut perfectly and then stuck on like these cards to be sent out to like wholesalers. Something happened, they didn't need them anymore and they were going to be thrown away, and I said, oh, can I grab those? So I went home and I sewed them up into this, and it has been one of my favorite scrap buster projects because it's so easy. It's literally just sewing rectangles together, sewing them in 3 lines, and done. And then I just attached it. I think this is calico. Yeah, it's calico on the back. And then I just sewed up the sides, put the pillow in, and then I sewed up this by hand. Like, you could probably do this in like an hour and a half, 2 hours at a push, 3 hours if you're a beginner, 5 hours if you get distracted easily. So that's one. Then I think the next one was this one. So I remember my mum asked me to hem a pair of her Koto ochre pants, and I did it, but the fabric was so gorgeous I really didn't want to throw it away. So I made this, and it was just on a whim. I like cut up a whole bunch of squares and triangles, and I kind of just winged it really. This here, I wish I chose a different fabric, because this here is kind of like a cotton drill, but it had a really high elastane polyester. It was weird, and it didn't really sew very well, and once it stretched it kept that shape, and I was like, oh, this is a bit annoying. And so I made this with it. The stitching isn't the best. It is from far away, but not up close, so I'll keep it back here. But I learned a lot from this project, especially about seam allowances, and also about the bulk that a seam allowance causes, especially on such like a tight point. So I learned. And then the denim fabric is offcuts from like this type of fabric. So really good, like all stays. Then the next one was this one, and I think it was because I really just needed a cushion cover, and you may not be able to see on camera that well, but it's basically just like a bunch of what do you call it, a bunch of denim scraps just all sewn together, and I just needed this because I needed an extra pillow on my couch. And then for the back, I had this one piece of fabric, but it wasn't big enough for the cushion. And so then I decided to, I'm just going to turn on the lights. Hold on one second. There we go. Hello again. So I just decided to kind of like, you know, I really just made do with what I had. And then I think over here, I just put in a box there. It all worked out fine. And I got myself a pillow cover. And then this one here, I did about a year ago now. And I was originally going to do like a kind of like pattern club where each month I released a new pattern and then people could sew along with it. But I didn't. And instead I sewed this for myself. And I just love the curves on it. Like it's all, it's a couple of different, it's all the same shape, but then there's a cutout, right? And I just loved the color combination and kind of like the movement of it. So that's my fourth, second walls. It's my fourth one. So, and I love this chartreuse color. And again, it's been discontinued. Bring it back. I love it. So yeah, that's another one there. So there's so many things that you can do with scrap fabric. And I'm going to just quickly delve into a few here. Like, I really keep Liberty scraps. Like that. Like just a little triangle is beautiful. And I know for a fact I'll use it for something. And then like I have this here. This is the one I wish I used for that other quilting pillow. But this is a really beautiful cotton drill. And with scrap fabric, it also is a great reference point for like when you're looking to do other projects. So for example, let's say I was wanting to sew a pair of culottes or something. I know that this kind of lightweight cotton isn't going to do it. Whereas something like this would get in there. And then if you get like this really heavy duty upholstery fabric and you kind of can pleat it and see how it falls and see how it drapes compared to something like this. Like this is a really beautiful drapey fabric. It's a lot more delicate. So if I was a beginner and I had a whole bunch of, like I had access to a whole bunch of scraps, I would, you know, take them into a fabric store and say, hey, have you got something similar in texture, weight, movement to this? Because like, for example, a merino has a two-way stretch, so it stretches across the body, compared to a swimsuiting fabric that stretches four ways, so it's across and up and down. So fabric scraps can be used as a really, really great resource for beginners. And also if you're having a bit of trouble with learning about the way that fabric behaves and whatnot, and what fabric can be used for. For example, I would love to use this, and I have used this to make something that the stretch is an undesirable trait in what I'm trying to achieve. For example, let's say I wanted to do quilting with this fabric, but because it stretches, it's not the right fabric for quilting. And so what I could do in that case is put a piece of fusing on the back and then cut it out, and then it's kind of turned from a stretch to like a bit more of a woven texture because it's got that backing on it. So bless me, having a selection of your scraps also allows you kind of to adapt your way of sewing and your projects to kind of what you have. I definitely also think it makes you a lot more inventive with what you're doing, because you can experiment with color and texture and print and weight to create some really beautiful designs that you may otherwise not have ventured into. Speaking of, like, you know, if you kind of go into a shop and say, oh, I'm making a t-shirt, and you kind of come out with just this, not knowing about this really elevates your sewing, and it kind of brings your skill level up, and then it exposes you to different like elements of a garment that you're sewing. So there's so much here with your scrap fabric that you can do that goes beyond just, oh, it's the offcuts of fabric. In saying that, whenever I go out and buy fabric, let's say I'm making a pair of shorts. A pair of shorts will probably be like 1.2 to 1.5 meters. I won't purposefully buy more fabric just so I can have the scraps, because yeah, the scraps are great, but I don't tend to buy additional 1/2 meter of fabric because I want scraps. It's only if I love the fabric, for example, like these ones, Liberties especially, and I wish I bought more of that sea salt linen, that I would wish I'd go back and buy more fabric. But like for this t-shirt fabric, I was making a t-shirt and I only bought like 1 meter, 1.2, whatever it was. And anything else that's left over is great, but I won't buy more for the sake of buying more. So I think that's something to keep in mind when you are sewing, because it is very easy to overbuy. It is very easy, and I have done it before. And whilst it might feel really good to know that you have like a bunch of scrap fabric, it's not necessarily always the goal, you know? It's a happy, you know the word I'm looking for. It's not happy coincidence, but this kind of stuff comes in time. So don't rush to build up your scrap fabric. That is what I'm trying to say. Don't rush to build up your scrap fabric, because this is like a decade plus of building up my fabric scraps. And having a big stockpile isn't something to be kind of aiming towards. It's merely a side effect. There it is. It is merely a side effect of our sewing journey, is what I'm going to say about that. So we did. I love how I was like, yeah, I'm definitely going to go through the whole bag. You'll stop halfway and we'll talk about stuff. And it's just like, well, I think I pulled out like 7 or 8 fabrics and then I got sidetracked to other stuff. So plenty more in there. What's this one? Oh, see, that's that chartreuse. I did not know I had that piece. Happy coincidences. Speaking of, I'll see you again same time next week. Ideally, my mom's coming to stay with me, so I don't know whether I'll be able to upload. But if I do, I'll see you then. And if I don't, I guess I never had the time. Bye.